Boy, this has been a weekend of movies today. I mean, it's been like that for a while already, but this has been a week. I haven't seen Don't Breathe 2 yet, but I heard that was good. I think. I don't know. I haven't catched up on reviews on it. Candyman, I heard was good, but it's not out on digital yet. Very curious about 𝕂𝔸𝔹𝐻 Shyamalan's movie. I've been avoiding spoilers on that because I want to know how polarizing that twist is in the film. So hopefully that will come out this week. Oh my goodness, there's been like a lot of films coming out on digital recently. It's pretty cool hearing that. Uh, so yeah, Kate.
What? You are so cool.
Salutations everyone, I'm Niru and welcome to Niru at the Movies. Tonight's film is the movie Kate, starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead, or as you may know her as Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim, or the villain in Sky High, if any of you watch Sky High, or even old enough to remember what Sky High is. Uh, but anyway, so Kate is this action revenge neo-looking film that takes place in Japan, and it's produced by David Leitch, one of the guys who directed the John Wick movies and started a kind of a trend called like the John Wick genre, basically, where someone is a badass doing cool action stunt work and just doing good stunts in general, basically. The ones like Atomic Blonde, Nobody, again, John Wick, or I think Extraction as well with Chris Hemsworth. I think they did some stuff like that too. Like, those kind of movies already. Movies like this and Netflix have been going on, like Neo looking with the neon lights, like, the neon light look aesthetic of movies, or that little old looking like feel to a revenge R-rated film. Like Gunpowder Milkshake did that with the bowling alley scene, the cool looking aesthetic with the neon lights in the background and like the whole 50s aesthetic look of the diner and the cool shootout in the library and such. All those things have happened in like Netflix movies recently that is obsessed with neon lights. Hell, movies that have been coming out today that took place in Japan. I said that Snake Eyes had some cool neon light backgrounds when they showed Japan at night in like alleyways and seeing like the signs and everything all bright and illuminating and colorful. I love that. I was obsessed with that. Kate does it better, showcasing Japan at night, and I love it. I honestly do love it. I love that this movie shows Japan at its busiest of the night, seeing the crowded areas, seeing like all like the corners of food places or just other stores in general at the dead of night of Japan, of Tokyo, and I loved seeing that aesthetic. Even stuff that I didn't know in Japan is the weirdest thing is there's this building, and this building was playing Tokyo Ghoul on it. Like there was some kind of projector that was playing Tokyo Ghoul while Kate was like taking a sniper shot to like a target she was supposed to kill, but she misses. And I was like wondering, is that Tokyo Ghoul? And I saw Kaneki with his white hair, and he's fighting someone with the mask on, and I was like, yeah, it's Tokyo Ghoul. So I'm like wondering, like, does Japan do that? Like, just show an anime in a and just place it on a building? I hope that's in an apartment building or a hotel. That would be annoying for people to see, like, freaking an anime just playing on that building. Like, what the fuck is that? But seeing like all the other cool different like places in Japan, like the that Godzilla head that's there also, and all the other like billboards and all the looks and just and also the like fashion sense in Japan as well. I saw a lot of Neko girls in maid outfits in this one club scene. I just loved the look of this film. It looks beautiful. It looks so like it looks so beautiful, like a neo-noir kind of like setting in Japan. I was just like intrigued by it, just looking the look of Tokyo at night. Like this is like a nighttime uh aesthetic I never see in Japan a lot in movies. I was also shocked at the amount of times all the actors in the film spoke Japanese in the film. Even with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she was speaking Japanese as well when all the other characters were speaking Japanese. Like they didn't always rely on saying like everyone talks English. You know, like every kind of movie does that. Like, oh, there's two Japanese characters in there. Oh, they have to speak English for some damn reason. But no, just like with the movie The Wolverine, if there was only Japanese characters in the film, they only speak Japanese. They don't speak English. They only speak English when the character who is American and speaks English is in the room, which makes more sense. But Kate here, she actually speaks Japanese pretty well. Mary Elizabeth Winstead probably had practice learning the lines for the movie, learning how to speak Japanese in order to do this film. I honestly appreciate that. I love that they went with like, yeah, she's in the city, she's in Japan, she's in Tokyo. Of course she needs to learn how to speak Japanese, which is great. I love that. I love that they were going for that, and I like that. Especially with a few things I like. The action scenes are great. I love all the fights, the stunt work in this film. Mary Elizabeth Winstead really looked like she had put work in to fight as her character Kate. I do love like the scene where she's like fighting all these guys and she's like she ran out of bullets and she's just tacking them left and right. Especially the one in the alleyway where she just burns a dude's face on the top of a grill where like shish kebab was being cooked. Kind of like reminds me of the scene in The Raid 2 where 𝕂𝔸𝔹𝔻's character crashes into a restaurant and then just froze like the deep fryer, like, oh yeah, the grease, like the freaking like oil, the cooking oil, just froze at a guy and he's like burning and his skin is like ripping apart and flesh. It kind of reminds me like that, or it kind of reminds me of someone getting their face like smashed in from a grill and you see like all the damage done. It doesn't go that graphic in the movie, but seeing Mary Elizabeth Winstead die of this advanced state of radiation poisoning, killing her, giving her cancer, and slowly seeing her body get rotted and eaten away, she looks like a total badass in this film. Especially seeing her from the trailers where she has the cigarette in her mouth, she's wearing that kitty shirt with a smile, and she's got the sunglasses on, she's walking in slow motion while these other guys are like shooting at bad guys left and right inside this building, and she's like, and just booming music just plays. I was like, this is awesome. She looks badass in this film. She convinced me she looked cool when she fights. Like, Mary Elizabeth Winstead has that presence of her being a badass, especially when she was Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim, where when she was fighting her ex-girlfriend, what was her ex-girlfriend's name? Oh yeah, Roxy Richter. Yeah, Roxy. And having her fight with like her giant hammer like she's Amy from Sonic the Hedgehog. Just seeing her just being cool or fighting and being cool is awesome to me. And I really did want to see more things from Mary for a long time, especially like this. Seeing her in a big starring role and she's not the supporting character is something that I never saw from her before. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm lying, and I'm just forgetting that there was where she's the main character in a movie. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but seeing her being the main central focus, she does carry the movie a bit here. I mean, sometimes her performance is kind of dead or too wooden, but you can probably think that she's just a stone cold face killer. That's why she just doesn't react with emotions that much. But when she does, it does hit when she's crying, and then she's actually breaking down in tears, even when she's like close to near death, or when she feels like she has hurt someone and she wanted to apologize to them. That's when the emotions hit, when she does. So I guess that was the point where she just wanted to be stone faced, cold, and everything. Movie is your typical like revenge flick, kill the bad guy, get to the bad guy until the deed is done. It plays out like kind of like a John Wick movie where she has to kill all these guys, but also has like the premise of the movie Crank, where Jason Statham's character, Chef Chelios, was injected with the shit and he was getting poisoned and he only had a few moments to live because but only if he can keep his heart rate up and adrenaline spiking so he can go and like continue living so he doesn't die. And it was kind of like that with Kate, where she has to keep injecting herself with this medicine in order to keep every hour in order for her to stay alive until she gets her, revenge. I wasn't looking for a story. I was looking for a cool action movie with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Kind of like what I was looking forward to with Gunpowder Milkshake. But with Gunpowder Milkshake, it kind of fell apart in places where I'm like, this is alright, and this is okay. But not like, I didn't hate it. I thought the movie was enjoyable, but honestly, I wished it could have been more. Cage doesn't try to be like anything. It does a straightforward plot, and that's good. It's just someone wants revenge, they're about to die, and they want revenge, and they have one night to do it. I like that. Yeah, give me some great visuals and great scenery and shots of Japan, and I'm happy about it because there's some great location choices they chose for Japan to make the presence and look and of the city look so beautiful and look so gorgeous of what the culture is, and seeing all the people being like night owls, just partying and eating and like having fun. If I have complaints of this movie, it's definitely the climax. As much as I said I did love that shot where she looked so badass walking in slow motion, I did have problems with the climax of the movie. And it's the biggest cliche, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but of course there's a surprise villain in the movie, and I really hope they didn't do this cliche, but they sadly did. They did the whole surprise villain angle where it's like, oh, surprise, this was the bad guy the whole time thing. I really hate that cliche. That cliche just annoys the hell out of me. It annoyed me in Frozen. It annoyed me in Zootopia. It annoyed me. What else had a surprise villain that freaking annoyed me? Like, I just hate the surprise villain twist in movies because it's like such a cop-out thing to do. Like, surprise, I'm the villain. Oh, are you shocked? You're totally not shocked because I'm a fucking big actor that looks like he's just played as a side character, but he clearly isn't a side character because, again, he's a fucking big actor. He's a well-known named actor who is looking like he's totally the good guy, but he clearly isn't. I really do hate that fucking cliche in movies, and they did it again here in this movie, and I just rolled my eyes, getting annoyed by it. And they try to make him sound sympathetic as well. I'm like, oh, shut up. This is just dumb. What I do like about with Kate, with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she always does have her limits. like John Wick, has his limits as well. But seeing how she's slowly dying of this, of radiation poisoning, you can see she has those limits. You see her limping. You see her getting out of breath. You see her just getting exhausted. Like, she's not perfect. Like, I love that. Like, she does start off as perfect in the beginning of a movie, but as the hours keep passing by, she slowly gets weaker and weaker, and you can see that through the progression of the film. Like, she can't do all the fights she can do like she did in the beginning and middle of the movie. Once the third act happens, she can only fire her gun, she can only walk at a certain pace, but she can't fight. You see her struggling to survive, struggling to get her revenge and put an end to all of this, just so she can protect this one girl and also make peace with herself as well. It works because I love that. It's not like with Nobody, where in Nobody, freaking Bob Odenkirk didn't act tired. He was like precision accuracy, and he was like so not exhausted. He just felt like, yeah, I totally got this. I am Mr. Perfect with my gun handling skills. What I liked about that bus scene in Nobody was that he was a bit rusty. He hasn't fought in a long time. And then he becomes Mr. Perfect throughout the entire movie. Don't get me wrong, Bob Odenkirk did an awesome job, a phenomenal job with the fight scenes in the movie. But sometimes you're gonna be like thinking, he really got back that pep in his step as a trained killer in the matter of a week, maybe more, in the span of just somewhat of a month, probably. I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. But here with Kate, I did believe that she was getting weaker and weaker in each like hour that she had to fight. Like, you can tell by all the things when she gets exhausted. Like, in the first few hours, she's fine. Like, she can take down a bunch of bad guys immediately. But when she's taking down one guy, it is a struggle for her. She still holds out on her own, but she still is kind of struggling with the fight as well. You slowly see her progressively getting weaker in a lot of scenes. Like, she can't do all the stuff she could do because she's getting more and more sick as time passes by. And I honestly did enjoy that. It shows that this character is at her final moments, but she is strong enough to not back out and get things done. Because, hell, she is like determined. She is not gonna stop until like the job is done. And it's pretty cool. I do enjoy that. This movie is, fine. It was a interesting revenge film with a lot of good action, and that's technically like with the John Wick movies or any movie by these directors, David Leitch and Chad something. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. That's a common problem here. But they both know, like, since they did Matrix, since they've done like a lot of good stunt choreography in movies before, they do have that experience of wondering how to like film good action movies, and also producing some good action movies as well, and hoping they can bring the same kind of level as they did with John Wick. They kind of did start a movement of making well filmed and well shot action scenes in movies. Like, so far, the whole quick cut editing, choppy action scene in movies is slowly dying out, and the same amount of level of action that the John Wick movies did is being brought into more movies, and I love it. Like, I do want more action like this. I do kind of want a bit more better story and a bit more development of characters in action movies like this still. Like the John Wick movies did build their own world, their own lore in the franchise. So I hope we get more of that level in future movies that people who will make their own John Wickian film in the future. So who knows? I give Kate a 6.7. It's fine. I liked it. I didn't hate it. Would I watch it again? Maybe just to see Mary Elizabeth Winstead kick ass again. So yeah, there's something to look forward to. I would totally binge like so many of the category of movies that were made that have that John Wick look or have that John Wick type action. Like, if I have to go to the level of movies, it would be uh John Wick, like in an order. I think I don't know if in order of years, probably like probably Atomic Blonde, the John Wick trilogy, Nobody, and Kate. Like that's like all those movies. If I wanted to do a binge watch marathon of them in like about a day or two, hell yes, I would. And just see them all and just see all that carnage and action happen. Maybe I would get bored of it. Maybe I would just get exhausted and says that's enough for today. I don't know. I just kind of want to see how much these movies aged and see how much they have aged properly, and hopefully they still stand to the test of time of being good action movies. But who knows? I don't know. But anyway, what are you gonna watch Kate? Are you gonna see it? I made it through this entire review without spoiling what happens in it. I mean, I told you what happens, but I didn't tell you how it ends. I didn't tell you who the villain is. I didn't tell you what's gonna happen. I just told you what is the point of this movie. It's a good action film. If you want to watch it, you just want to have a good time, not looking for anything serious or complicated that you want to focus on story on. You just want to pop in a movie, have fun, maybe have a couple of drinks, things, or just sit back and eat popcorn or something. I say you can watch Kate and just have a good time with it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you, Wolfpack, in the next one. Ciao, darlings.
Ow, ow, ow! Ow! Ow!